Welcome to Get Known Be Seen WebTV. I'm Tish Springsteen, and my passion is helping you to get known, be seen, to make it easy for your clients to find you. And it's my absolute great delight today to bring to you my guest, Matty WOOOO. And WOOOO is his surname. I think it's absolutely awesome, absolutely brilliantly awesome. And I'm looking forward to finding out a little bit more about Matty. Now, Matty comes from a family of great intelligence, but he was lacking parenting and used his great intelligence to get into a lot of trouble. Now, there's some big stories there. I know that. I've had a little bit of a look at Matty's website and a bit about his book, and there's some really awesome stories in there. He was convicted a felon on probation when he was struck with a 120 miles per hour impact and ended up in a coma, which is like a big wake-up call, I reckon. So when Matty woke, he was paralyzed, had amnesia, and that is what totally changed his life for the better. So welcome, Matty. Woo! Yeah, I like that. Woo! At the end of that. Awesome. Welcome, Matty. Awesome to have you on my show. So look, we just need to start with, do you want to share a little bit about your journey? Because what I just gave you in the bio there, in that introduction, is just the high points. So let's have a little talk about how far have you come?
I'm an overachiever. So when I got in trouble, I got in lots of trouble. Woo! And like I said, I was a convicted felon and on probation and had a dead end life. And then God kept knocking on my door, but I wouldn't answer. And he kept knocking again, louder, still. So he hit me upside the head at 120 miles an hour, which when it said 120 mile an hour impact, that's my vehicle hit another car head on, each going 60 miles an hour on a highway. And I did not have my seatbelt on. And the only reason they said that I survived is because I was in such good shape, because I braced myself against the steering wheel, bent the steering wheel in half, bent the steering wheel column straight up, and then hit the windshield. So I slowed the impact down a little bit. But I was in a coma, and when I woke up, when I came to from the coma, I was paralyzed and had amnesia, which was the best thing that ever happened to me, because I forgot what a loser I was and started to construct a new life. And my new life is awesome. Woo!
Brilliant, brilliant. Oh, and how long ago did this happen?
1996.
Sorry?
1996. So
Okay.
24 years ago.
Yeah. Okay. And from there, what led from there to you've got a book coming out? What is the book called?
The book is called FUBAR Crossroad. And for those of you who don't know what FUBAR stands for, it's fouled up beyond all repair. And my life was FUBAR.
Yeah. I love the title. When I saw the title of the book, I thought, wow, now that is a title that will grab people's attention, because I just want to know what is all that about. So when did you start writing the book?
A long time ago, about 4 years ago probably, because I went through a ghostwriter and they were not good. And the first book was printed, but I took it back down, and then I found another ghostwriter, and Michael Gonzalez is the writer who wrote this, and I provided him all the information from my memory, but then he interviewed all my family and all my friends and everything, and the book is an incredible story. It made me cry when I read it.
Awesome. Okay. Now what I'm finding interesting out of that is the ghostwriter, because I don't come across very many people who use a ghostwriter. So what was your experience with that? I can see that you've had a good one and a bad experience. So I think that would be awesome if we could share a little bit about those experiences and why you chose that particular way to do the book.
Yeah, I'm a big thinker, but I'm not a great writer, not a great organizer. Just, I want to get all my thoughts out there and stuff, but somebody else can worry about editing and taking care of the order of it. So the first ghostwriter I had, I wrote down all my memories and sent it in to them, and they edited it and printed it. And they didn't do any work on it, which I paid a lot of money, and they didn't do anything, and I was really upset. The second one, you know, he took the first book to get the general idea, but then he interviewed me multiple times, and then my family and all my friends, everybody, and found out so much information. And the first book was just a chronological book of facts, you know. Here's where I was born, then I moved here, and then, you know, I went to school here, blah, blah. Michael took all my facts and wrote an incredible story. You know, it's not just the facts. It's an amazing story. And so, yeah, there's good and bad. And the first one was bad. The second one was awesome. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well done. It's interesting because a lot of people, when they're wanting to write a book, and I work a lot with mentoring clients who want to write a book, they think there's only one way of doing it, that they've got to sit down and actually write it. And there are several ways of doing it. And one that a lot of people don't think about is having a ghostwriter. Now, we've just explained, if you'd like to explain this a little bit more about how does the ghostwriter fit into your story? Do they get known and acknowledged on the cover? Is it just your story? Do they have any rights? Just if you'd like to share just a little, I think my viewers would be interested in hearing about that.
Sure. He is acknowledged on the cover as the writer, and in the credentials and stuff, he talks about himself in there a little bit and says who he is and stuff like that. That's about all, though.
Oh, good. And are you self-publishing, or have you got someone to publish for you? Self-publishing? Mm-hmm. And how are you finding that? Was that an easy decision? What made you decide to go down that way?
Yeah, because I didn't try to get it published by anybody else. I just went straight for myself. I mean, if I can get sales up high enough, I might talk to some publishers and see if they will take it over, you know, but I'm fine with self-publishing right now.
And I think a lot of it's really awesome that nowadays that we can do that. We've got that option. We don't have to go down the full publishing house route, but really cut out a lot of people whose stories would not normally get out there going down that way. No. And your book is coming out in what date?
May 26th.
Awesome.
And it will be audio, paperback, Kindle, and audio.
Brilliant, brilliant. So what are you doing to get your book out there at the moment? What are you doing to what I call get known, be seen? What things are you doing, and what would you recommend to people to do?
Well, I want to get in Borders bookstore and do signings, but I got to wait for them to open since everything is closed now. And then I'm doing podcasts, and I'm promoting it a lot on Facebook and stuff. And word of mouth, telling all my friends and telling them to tell everybody. But podcast is probably the biggest, the best way to do that I know, because you really hit a lot of people, you know.
And how many podcasts have you been on so far?
This is one of my first ones because I just got the book ready. So I've been on a couple podcasts previously, like way back, but I didn't have a book finished, and I had no place to send people to. You know, it wasn't on Amazon yet or anything like that. So I stopped doing them until I got the book finished. So now that it's finished, I'm going to be on tons of podcasts on it.
Awesome. Awesome. And I think there was something that very interesting that you said there that most people don't think about. They get onto podcasts, they might be sort of writing their book or doing the book, but they don't have all the marketing things set up, like a website, where to send people, or even a Facebook page. You have got a Facebook page that is dropped in to have a look at that, and it's brilliant. Well, just share what you're doing on that Facebook page to let people know about your book.
Yeah, I put the first paragraph of every chapter once a day. It's got a lot of chapters in it. It's like 36 chapters. So I put the first paragraph of every chapter in because it sparks their interest, you know, like, oh my gosh, well, how does this end, you know? And then it gives them a real brief overview of the story. And then today I got on the news from pulling my truck across the parking lot. And I put that video on the Facebook website just now too.
Yeah, I saw that.
I did that because to to get more well known and be seen, I called all the TV stations in town and told them, you know, my gym's closed, so to exercise, I'm pulling my truck across the parking lot. You want to come film me? And I got one to come and film me, so it was awesome.
and that just lets me, I wanted to hear a little bit more about your journey, because look, we just heard in the bio, and we heard a little bit at the start, that you woke up, you know, you're in a coma, and you woke up, you were paralyzed, you had amnesia. Now we're looking at, you're calling TV stations to see you pull a truck across a parking lot. What happened in between? A lot of angst and a lot of work, I reckon.
Yes, because when I came out of the coma, I was paralyzed on the right side. And when that finally started to subside, I was in extreme pain because both my knees were broke from hitting the dashboard, and the joints and tendons on my right side were all tore up, so I had extremely limited mobility, was in extreme pain, and the doctors told me I had to take these massive pain pills, which I did not take, even though I was in pain. Long story, it's in the book. And they told me that I could never exercise again, and I couldn't talk. Lucky for the doctors, because what I would have said was F you, because I'm going to exercise again, but I had to learn how to walk first, you know. So when I went back in the gym, it was extreme pain and very limited mobility, which was frustrating, because before my accident, I was in great shape, you know, and now I couldn't even do anything hardly. So I built myself up again, which took a long time. But 3 years later, I was in the Strongest Man Alive contest pulling semis and flipping tractor tires.
Wow. Awesome.
That's why when my gym closed, I was like, what am I going to do for a workout? Well, I got my harness in the garage that I used to pull trucks with. Maybe I'll go pull my truck. That's why I decided to start pulling my truck every 3 times a week.
Oh, that would certainly give you a workout. But I'm thinking that people need to go and read your book, because what you just told me is like a very one-dimensional, and I'm thinking, if they get your book, there's a lot more behind those few words that you've just encapsulated your story. Very much, very short, and there's a lot more in that book.
Definitely.
What prompted you to write the book? What was the outcome that you wanted? What was it that said, I need to write this book?
Well, I'm in a health and fitness company, representative, and I was promoting the company and stuff, and was doing okay, making decent money. And I thought, you know, I need to get more well known. And I went to an event where I was learning about how to make passive income. And one of the ways was a gentleman got on stage and talked and said, you know, write a book. Because if you write a book about yourself, you become overnight a professional in whatever topic you're on. Because even if nobody reads your book, the fact that you have a book, they figure, oh, this guy must know what he's talking about, you know? I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. So I started to work on it, but it took a lot longer because I went through a lot of trials and tribulations there. So it took like 4 years before I was finished now. And so what I wanted to do was just become well known and to help my other business. But now I'm to the point where, no, I want to be well known for the book itself and become a public speaker, an inspirational speaker. I almost said motivational, and I found out what the difference between motivational and inspirational is, and I want to be an inspirational speaker myself. They said a motivational gets on stage and talks, he gets everybody cheering, woo, yeah, woo, and then they go home and they forget about it. But an inspirational speaker keeps them inspired from that point on, and they really rise to achieve their goals. So I'm an inspirational speaker.
Brilliant, because I'm glad you shared that, because a lot of people just don't get that difference between motivating and inspiring, and there is a big difference. There's a space for both, but it's a lot of people mix up the motivation with the inspiring. So awesome. So that's what you're planning to do, to leverage your book into being able to inspire people?
Yeah, and one thing on that too, just like yesterday, I came up with a great saying for my book, and it's from an inspirational part, because I could be motivational, saying, yeah, I had to overcome hurdles, but now I competed in the strong contest, blah, blah, blah. But my inspirational part was how I went from being a chronic, crud, I'm going to forget what it was now. How I went from being a chronic victim of circumstances that were beyond my control to being the master of my own destiny and understanding that nothing in life is out of my control. And I can show you how to do the same things with your life. What are your problems that you cannot overcome? Is it health, wealth, or relationships? Well, let me get you on the path to fix those problems right away. Woo!
You've given this some thought, and I think it's a brilliant way of really showcasing all the stuff that you've been through and turning it around to be able to share that to help other people, which is where you're going with
Yeah.
the book.
There's two types of people in the world. One that makes mistakes and then keeps repeating that mistake over and over and saying, poor me, the victim. And the second person is the one that makes the same mistake but learns from those mistakes and never makes those mistakes again. Before my accident, I was the one that kept repeating it and saying, poor me, oh, poor me. Now I fix it. Woo, I'm done.
So where do you plan to take, your book comes out on the 26th. You're planning to push that out and you want to turn that into some speaking gigs. So where do you see yourself taking that in the next 6 months, 8 months?
Well, getting on, small stages at first to get known, but then once my name starts to get out there, because within a year, nobody is going to forget the name Matty B. Woo! Everybody will know the name. And I'll be a household name, and I'll be doing like tremendous speaking gigs. I'd like to go into schools and prisons because I was on my way to prison pretty much, and I want to tell them that there's a different way, and inspire people in prison to change their lives and, let them know there's a totally different way. And in school, to tell the kids as they're still learning, what to strive for and inspire them to become great people. So that's two. Yeah.
That's an awesome way to go, and I wish you really well on that, and your book's going to take you there. One of the things that I noticed when we were talking, the question, I was asking, what do you think you could do to get known, be seen? And you've got your top 2 tips, and you said down there, get in front of any camera you can, video camera or pictures. So why do you suggest that as your top tips?
Well, that's the thing, because I called all the local television stations in town and said, my gym's closed, so I got to work out, so I'm pulling my truck across the parking lot. You want to come and film me? And, I went a little deeper than that, explaining stuff. And then I got a TV station to come and film me, which, if I didn't do that, nobody would have seen me or known who I was. But now I'm on, well, not national TV, but local television, and people, like my friends were texting me going, I just saw you on TV, woo! And so that's the way to get your face out there, because I just got in front of another 100,000 people that wouldn't have seen me otherwise.
Brilliant tip, because that's, how did you, let me just put it, that wasn't probably easy for you, was it?
No, it was very difficult.
So what was the thought process that you could share? You're saying, let's just get your face out there, do all that. But it's not that easy. So what sort of thoughts would you give someone who, when you say that, but how would they do that? How would
that was an extreme example, but there's 1,000 other ways you can get in front of cameras, and whether it be at parties or at events or whatever, like political events, say. Not that I'm a political speaker or nothing, but like political events, there's always way that you can get in front of the camera there too. And there's many different ways to get in front of cameras, but just always keep that in the back of your mind. If you're ever at an event and you see a camera, hey, maybe I can get on there and maybe I can get my work out to people, need to hear me. So that's big, I think.
Awesome. And do you have I actually agree with you, because I think I work with a lot of people. I mentor people to get known, be seen, and one of the things is to have that courage to step up and just shine that light and say, hey, here I am. And you are doing that brilliantly, Matty. Do you have people that support you? What's your thoughts about surrounding yourself with like-minded people? Do you have a group that supports you?
That's very important, to surround yourself with like-minded people, because a lot of times, people will tell you people tell me that I'm crazy. And I say, yes, I am. Thank you very much for noticing. And it's funny because they say that a very large percentage of the population, I'm not sure what the exact percentage is, but they fear speaking in front of people more than they fear death. Like, they hate it. I love it. Woo! Get me in front of somebody. I want to tell my story. So if you're one of those people that fears talking in front of groups more than death, get over it.
How long did it take you to get over it, Matty? Did it just come like that, or was it something you really had to work on?
I think it was my accent, basically. Because before my accent, I was a wallflower. I was always the one, back against the wall, mouth shut, but prejudging everybody else. Oh, that guy thinks he's cool, but he's not cool. Oh, that guy thinks he's smart, but he's not that smart. Prejudging and telling criticizing people in my head, And now I'm the person in the middle of the room going, woo, that everybody else is criticizing. I don't care.
So you're putting that down to your accident and what you did to work yourself after that?
Yes. Because
so it was a big wake-up call. We don't want everybody to have to go through that, though. It's a little bit drastic. That was because you didn't listen the first time.
One thing I say in my book is that the changes I made were extremely, extremely difficult, and they took years and years of transformation and change and evolution to get to where I am today. So the way you can do the same thing I did is go through immense pain and turmoil for 25 years, or talk to someone who's already been through that, and I will teach you. Woo!
Yeah, I know which one I might want to be choosing, viewers. So I think I know which one I would be choosing in that respect. So what would be your greatest lesson and insight? I think we've touched on a few, but just if you can pick out your greatest lesson or insight from where you've been, from your journey, that you can share with people.
My greatest lesson is always, always, always keep an open mind and listen to others, because before my accident, I was a 100% know-it-all, and I knew next to nothing. But I wouldn't listen to other people, because as soon as they started talking, like, oh, I already know all this. Oh, they can't tell me nothing I don't know. I already know this. I'm not going to listen to them because I'm smarter than them. Mm-hmm. And now it doesn't matter who comes up and starts talking to me. I'm going to listen to every word they say. After they're done, then I might go, well, yeah, that's not true, or I know more than that. But I'm still going to listen to everything they say, because even today, even though I know 100 times more than I knew before my accident, I still learn from other people all the time. And I still get little nuggets and pieces of gold that are extremely valuable. Like with diet and nutrition, I'm extremely knowledgeable about that, but I still learn new things every day. I love hamburger and steak. And it has to be 100% grass-fed, not just grass-fed, 100% grass-fed. But I guess it was about 4 months ago, I turned vegan. So the meat is gone now. Wow. Because it was very, very important, which in the past I would have said, oh, I already know everything. I'm not going to listen to this stupid information. But now I listened to it and I learned a lot from it. So it changed my whole eating lifestyle.
I think that's a very valuable insight. I don't know that we listen enough in the world today. We're so busy trying to fill those silences with our own chatter, or listening to the voices in our head, that we're not actually listening to the right things and listening to people. So that's a very valuable thing. Thank you for sharing that. Absolutely. Thank you. I think that's something.
We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason.
Absolutely, we do, and that's great. Who would you say has influenced you the most?
Oh, probably, well, I would say one of the people is Grant Cardone now, and that's because I'm reading his books right now. So he has a little biased choice, because I'm getting influenced by him right now. And he's a, I don't even know how to describe what he is in one word. He's inspirational, and he's a teacher on how to be incredible in finances. But then there's also some speakers that have influenced me too, but they're semi-political, so I'm not going to mention any names. Because I know that's one thing you don't talk about is politics and religion.
I could try and avoid that.
Yeah. Which is kind of funny because I went home for Christmas. I'm from Iowa, and I went home, and my mom picked me up at the airport, and she said, Matt, here's the deal. We're not going to talk about politics or religion. I go, all right, woo! Because my politics happen to be the total opposite of everybody else in my family. So I'm like, yeah, I'm happy not talking about that. That's why it's family time. Don't talk about politics or religion.
It can be one of the best ways to go. So anybody else that has influenced you in your areas as you go along?
Well, Sean Douglas, he's helped me a lot in marketing my book and stuff, and he's amazing. And I met him about 3 years ago, I think, at a podcast event. And we've been friends ever since, and he's really helped me with my book, market it, and teach me how to get it to bestseller. So he's doing great help for me. He's
awesome.
Really inspiring me.
Oh, I think he's doing a good job because I can see the results in the marketing that you're doing and the things that you are planning to do. So where can people find your book when it comes out?
On Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And that'd be the easiest place because you can find it there on paperback, Kindle, and audio.
Okay. And when it's coming out again, and the title?
May 26th. And the title is FUBAR Crossroad.
Let's see it. Awesome. People, if that book is anything that has, from the things that Matty's been sharing with us in this few minutes that we've had with him, I think that book's going to be a really good bestseller because just a few drops of information that Matty's shared with us so far, there's so much more in that book, isn't there? You expand on it so much more.
Yeah, even like I said on my book launch page, my book launch group, I give the first paragraph of every chapter, which, you know, gets people's minds working on understanding, but I mean, it's just a tad bit, so they have to really read the book to get all the information. Because if they read the first paragraph, they're going to be like, oh my God, what the heck, this guy's crazy. I want to hear what happened, you know?
I love that you're sharing that. I've been over to that Facebook page. So what page did they just put your name in? Can they to get it, or is it the FUBAR Crossroad? Is it?
It is the FUBAR Crossroad Book Launch Group with a space in between each word. You can't type it all together. So space in between each word. The FUBAR Crossing Book Launch Group. Woo!
Awesome. And I would suggest to people that you go and have a look at that page. We'll have some details for that below the video here when we post it in that respect. So thank you very much, Matty. I've thoroughly enjoyed having the conversation with you, and I look forward to your book launch and seeing that book come out. And I'll be interested to have you back sometime to discuss how did it all work out. So we'll be watching, and sometimes I might come back to see, well, how did that book launch work? How did the things that you've put into place? And I'll be looking to see where your journey goes from there. So thank you very much for being with us. People, you've been watching Get Known Be Seen WebTV. I'm Trish Springsteen. My passion is helping you to get known, be seen. My passion is helping you to make it easy for your clients to find you, your readers, your audience, whoever that your niche is, that your community is connecting. I help you to make that easy for them to find you. So if you want to know more, you can easily contact me. The details are below here. And at the end of this particular session, you'll see how you can have a conversation with me for you to get known, be seen. Until next time, thank you, Matty, and have an awesome time. Make sure you too step up, get known, be seen, and go woo!